A prison guard stopped me before I left the visiting room and handed me a letter. "This is for you," he said. "The inmate asked me to make sure you got it." I almost threw it away. Then I saw my family name written inside the envelope. I opened it in my car. The first paragraph made my hands shake. The inmate claimed my father had hidden a secret from me for 22 years, and my older brother knew the truth. My brother was the person I trusted most. If you enjoy stories about family secrets and betrayal, subscribe to Family Betrayal. And the faces, photos, backgrounds, and scenes in this video are visual storytelling elements meant only to help imagine what happened. That night, I called my brother. I asked if he knew an inmate named Daniel. The silence on the phone lasted so long that I thought the call had dropped. Finally, he said, "Why are you asking me about him?" My brother told me to burn the letter and forget Daniel existed. He said the man had destroyed our family once and was trying to do it again. But Daniel's final sentence came back to me. "Your father left the proof where your brother would never look." I barely slept. At sunrise, I drove to my father's workshop. I had no idea one loose wooden panel was about to change everything I believed about my family. I wanted to believe my brother, but the fear in his voice had already planted a doubt I could not ignore. The workshop smelled exactly like my father's old tools and dust. Daniel's letter said my father trusted numbers more than people. I searched drawers and shelves until I noticed a wooden panel behind the workbench that didn't sit right. I pulled it away. Behind it was a small blue metal box. My heart started pounding. My brother had once told me that box disappeared after Dad died. I tried my birthday, my parents' anniversary, and the number of our old house. Then I remembered Dad writing a strange 6-digit number on the back of family photographs. Inside were bank statements, an old photograph of my father standing beside Daniel, and an envelope with my name on it. My fingers felt numb as I opened it. Dad had written that Daniel never stole the money our family accused him of taking. The evidence against him had been manufactured, and the person who helped create it was my brother. I read that sentence 3 times, hoping I had misunderstood it. Then I found something worse. Dad wrote that he had known the truth for years, but was afraid to expose my brother because of what might happen to the family. I sat on the workshop floor, staring at the letter. Then my phone rang. It was my brother. He didn't ask where I was. He simply said, "You found the box, didn't you?" Before I could answer, he added, "Then you already know why Daniel went to prison." I froze. Daniel's letter had never said my brother caused the crime. It only said he knew the truth. I drove back to the prison. Daniel was waiting behind the glass. I asked why my brother had wanted him gone. Daniel told me he had worked for my family business and discovered money being moved through accounts he didn't control. When he questioned my brother, everything changed. Within days, Daniel was accused of stealing. Daniel said my brother had created false records, but there was one detail he could never explain. The missing money never went into my brother's account. Daniel slid a bank record toward me. The money had gone into an account belonging to my mother. Daniel explained that my brother had discovered an old financial problem involving her and used it to control the situation. Money moved through her account, then disappeared into investments. I asked why Daniel stayed quiet. He looked at me and said, "Because your father begged me not to destroy your family." I left furious and confused. "You should stop digging," he said. I asked why Dad had written the confession. Because Dad was scared. That night, I returned to the blue box. Under the bank papers was a tiny flash drive I hadn't noticed. "If you're watching this," he said, "your brother probably knows I finally told you." Then Dad revealed the secret. My brother had sold our family property using Dad's signature. But Dad had already taken steps to expose him. The proof was hidden somewhere only I would think to search. Before sunrise, I drove to my father's grave. Behind the headstone, I found a small metal tube buried in the ground. Inside was the original property deed, my father's real signature, and a letter addressed to me. Dad admitted fear had controlled him for too long. He stayed silent because he believed protecting the family mattered more than exposing the truth. But the final page changed everything. Dad had already reported the forged property sale before he died. The original deed was the evidence needed to reopen the case. I took everything to an attorney. The property records were challenged, the forged documents were examined, and my brother finally had to answer questions he had avoided for years. Daniel's conviction was eventually overturned. When I visited him afterward, I expected anger. Instead, he simply looked at me and said, "Your father finally kept his promise." I cried that day, not because I had won, but because I understood how many years my family had wasted protecting lies. My brother and I never repaired our relationship, but I stopped blaming myself for secrets I never created. If you were in my place, would you have exposed the truth even if it meant losing your family? Tell me what you would have done in the comments. Share this story with someone who believes family should mean honesty, and subscribe to Family Betrayal. I learned something I will never forget. Blood can make people related, but